You're watching Local 6, home of clickorlando.com. Local 6 News starts now.
Right now, you're looking at breaking news, a fiery train crash in Ohio. Look at the flames coming off of this wreck, and this thing is so big, air support is being called in to help firefighters. Straight ahead, a full report on the details that are just coming in.
And then more fallout from this dangerous prank pulled by 3 local police officers who just announced they're quitting, and why it could lead to a major shakeup for one city.
But first, we're tracking rain on the radar, and it's not going away anytime soon. Straight ahead, who's going to be hearing the rumble of thunder today? Good morning. So glad you could join us on this Wednesday. It is now 5 a.m. I'm Matt Austin.
And I'm Bridget Ellis. And right now, parents across the area are anxiously awaiting word from their children's school districts to see if big changes could be on the way.
In less than 3 minutes, how the release of school grades could have you changing your calendar.
Yeah, but first, let's get over to meteorologist Troy Bridges with details on some rain on the way.
Good morning and happy hump day. We're going to get through this week and we're going to be just fine with minutes, but let's check on those roads with Jess Sanchez. Good morning, Jess.
Good morning, Troy. You know, I was keeping my eye on some overnight construction on I-4 eastbound as you approach Sound Lake Road. Speed is up to 55 miles per hour. Matt?
Jess, now to that breaking news out of Ohio where a train has derailed, sparking a huge explosion. These are live pictures we're getting in from the TV station in Ohio. And look at the flames as it just pans over there of this train. More than 100 cars are involved in this. And apparently it was carrying some chemicals that are used to make plastic. Obviously, they're pretty flammable here. Yeah,
and the 4 or 5 cars you see there on fire apparently have some chemicals like denatured alcohol, styrene, a chemical used to make plastic. So we know that 1 mile radius is being evacuated. They're actually bringing in buses to bus people out of that area. But what we're learning, though, is that hazmat officials say that there is apparently no risk for air contamination. Those are the reports we're getting at this time, but we're going to continue to keep getting updates on this.
Yeah, and actually people from miles away could hear and they reported feeling this explosion here. It's almost difficult to tell how high those flames are, but they're above the trees. We're making some calls trying to figure out more, get more information on this incident that's happening out near Columbus, Ohio, and we'll get you that as soon as we hear anything.
And the time now is 5:03. Today is the day teachers, parents, and students have been anxiously awaiting.
Yeah, in just hours, the state will release its annual report on school grades. And this is a big deal because if just one school drops a letter grade, it could bring on a whole wave of changes. For example, in Brevard County, if the district loses its high performance ranking, it will be forced to push back the first day of school. So here's why. Districts who earn high marks get the option of starting school earlier. You can kind of think of it as getting more for your money with the extra weeks of knowledge your kids could gain. But if just one school in the entire district gets an F, then the district has to throw out its calendar and start over again. And here's why parents and school leaders are worried scores might disappoint this year. Earlier this year, the state passed a tougher grading system. It also toughened up the FCAT. And we all remember a huge number of students failed the FCAT because of the tougher testing standards. District officials say they're worried they won't be able to meet the high performance requirement because of these tougher standards. But we'll all have to just wait and see how those schools did when those grades come back out later this morning. As soon as they're released, we'll post them on clickorlando.com.
Deputies say their son died after he was brutally beaten during a violent hazing, and now the parents of Robert Champion plan to sue the school they believe allowed the violence to happen. In just hours, they'll file their lawsuit just blocks from where their son died. Calla Rama's live in downtown Orlando this morning at the Orange County Courthouse with more details on this. And Calla, why does the Champion family feel the school, FAMU, is at fault?
Well, because they say it's been decades of a culture of hazing at that school, and the school never did anything to protect their son when they supposedly knew about it, even when the dean of students suggested 3 days before Robert Champion's death that the entire band should be suspended for hazing. They say at 1 o'clock this afternoon.
Okay, thanks for that update, Calla. And be sure to keep it right here to Local 6 for all the developments in this case. We're keeping in close contact with the Champion's attorney. As soon as we get word they filed that suit, we'll let you know. Now to news overnight in Volusia County, where a home burned down. The fire broke out at a house on Seaside Drive in Ormond Beach. We spoke with the Volusia County Sheriff's Office, and they tell us the fire started in a bedroom and it quickly spread. Everyone got out safely. The Red Cross is helping them find another place to sleep. The state fire marshal is headed to the scene to investigate that fire. It's 5:07 now. Overnight, Local 6 confirmed Claremont City Manager is resigning.
It's all in the wake of an incident involving 3 officers who pulled a dangerous prank, we're told. The whole thing was caught on tape in March. This dashboard camera shows a car with 3 officers inside driving at speeds more than 80 miles an hour. And when they were pulled over, the driver ran out of the car before revealing the whole thing was a prank. Since then, 2 of the officers involved were fired, a 3rd suspended. Last night, City Manager Wayne Saunders announced he will resign at the beginning of next year.
New this morning, the Brevard County School Board has decided to ask voters to approve a half-penny sales tax. Last night, the board voted 4-1 to put the proposed tax on the November ballot. If it's approved, the measure would increase Brevard's current 6% sales tax to 6.5%, raising about $32 million annually. The board said it would create a needed revenue stream for facility repairs and upgrades.
Okay, thrill seekers, get ready because Local 6 has learned a new zip line attraction opens up this weekend. The News Journal reports Zoom Air Daytona will be open to the public this Saturday. Here's a YouTube video from the zip line at Central Florida Zoo in Sanford. The attraction is a collection of zip lines, suspended bridges, and tight ropes in the treetops of the park. It is located at the corner of Nova Road and International Speedway Boulevard. It was all supposed to open earlier this month, but because of tropical storms and depressions, it couldn't do it. But this does not even come close to taunting Bridget to go there, huh?
I don't know. I think I have a phobia.
You like the view from the ground. It's understandable.
I mean, I could do a ropes course, but not a zip line. So I don't know. Maybe you and Troy could go check that out.
Troy, let's go hit this thing up.
We
Is the
don't
weather
have
nice?
wings for a reason. As well as those afternoon storms. We'll detail it in minutes. Back to you guys.
All right, that we do, Troy. Thank you. Well, it is now 10 minutes after 5. They're sick and in need of a lot of help, but what's worse, they're missing.
In the next 10 minutes, the gentle sea creatures that wildlife experts in Brevard County need your help finding. And then heartbreak for a local family after their dog suddenly gets ill. At 5:25, what could be in your backyard that could harm your pet or even your child?
Then, is Casey Anthony living off money from a big-name celebrity? Next half hour, who's reportedly sending her cash and why it could land her back in court again. But first, check it out. This is one of the biggest expansions in Disney's history. Next, the new details just released about the new Disneyland, the new Fantasyland there, and what else it is going to bring to our area besides just excited kids and exhausted parents. And we're staying on top of this breaking news out of Ohio, where firefighters are trying to get a huge fire under control after a train derails and explodes.
That's right. Right now, we're not sure if there are any injuries. None have been reported, but stick around. We're getting more updates by the minute. We're putting in some calls. We'll be back with some more information.
We're keeping a very close eye on this breaking news out of Ohio, where a train has derailed and sparked this huge explosion. We're showing it to you live here from Columbus, Ohio, as crews try to figure out a way to get this thing under control. People could feel and hear that explosion from miles away.
And we know that a 1-mile radius around this crash has been evacuated. Actually, buses are being brought in to transport people to safer areas right now as crews work to battle those flames. And we'll continue to keep you updated on this story, but a big train derailment out in Columbus, Ohio right now this morning.
Crazy pictures coming in this morning. Well, it's one of the biggest makeovers in Disney's history, the expansion of the new Fantasyland at Walt Disney World.
Up until now, we've only seen a few small parts of this new attraction, like the new Dumbo ride right there. But the rest has been left to our imaginations with some concept art. But, you know, that's about to change.
That it is. In just hours, we're going inside the new Fantasyland for our first ever tour.
Yeah, that is a glimpse at the castle for the Little Mermaid area right there.
Very exciting.
Reporter Courtney Hall is anxiously waiting to get in. She's out there at Disney this morning. What can we expect, Courtney?
Well, you know what, Bridget, we're just excited to learn how many morning, and you can
can count on us to take a lot of pictures. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Courtney. Of course, the job of princess is probably already taken.
Oh,
so
yes, by Courtney. She's
there's
already
there's
out
the castle. Okay, so be sure to keep checking our website all morning long for new updates on Fantasyland. Once we go inside, we'll start posting some more pictures and videos of the glimpses we're getting, and it will all be on the homepage of clickorlando.com, so check that later on this afternoon.
Very curious to see how much they have done. It's very exciting stuff. But it turns out the old aging Citrus Bowl is going to get its makeover after all. Cinderella's getting ready for the ball, speaking of princesses. We've been telling you about it for weeks, and yesterday the deciding vote was cast. Orange County leaders unanimously approved a $189 million plan for the Citrus Bowl renovations.
This morning, researchers are searching for two needles in a haystack, in a sense.
Yeah, except the needles in this case weigh about 1,000 pounds each, and they're lost in the ocean. So here's a picture of Holly and Bernice.
Holly and Bernice.
Two men. It's
on
like
the
Thelma
run.
and Louise. They are. They're out there
Beautiful.
holding hands, driving off the cliff. Hopefully not. Biologists have rehabbed these two gentle giants. They lost their tracking tags, so researchers are now blind as to how these manatees are doing. Researchers use the tags to make sure manatees learn how to adapt back into the wild, and if not, the researchers can then step in and help. So they're a little worried about them, and there's a little Amber Alert out there for these two manatees.
Maybe
right
they
now.
chewed each other's tags
Yeah,
off.
they really are like
I'll
Thelma and Louise.
scratch your back, you
Yeah.
scratch mine.
They're like,
Good
we
point.
don't want you to know where we're headed. We're going somewhere fun.
going to the
We're gonna
club.
have some good
Yeah.
times. Yeah. You know, today when you walk out the door, you are going to notice that wall of sticky air. I know we're used to the humidity, but today it is brutal because of that sticky air. We're going to lead to a few scattered storms into the afternoon. 3. Let's check those roads now with Jess Sanchez. Good morning, Jess. Any real problems yet?
Hey, good morning, Troy. Right now, we do have a traffic alert. Matt and Bridget.
All right, thank you, Jess. The time now is 5:22. Two parents are in some big trouble for what they tried to sneak onto a plane.
Stick around just 5 more minutes and hear how they were caught after stuffing their baby in their luggage. Then he's a family's treasure, but this morning this dog is doing what he can to stay alive. Next, what happened suddenly and without warning that has his masters warning everyone to watch their pets and their kids.
Then to infinity and beyond, one local company is gearing up for a big mission to space. In 20 minutes, how they want you to be involved in it. And here's another live look at breaking news right now in Columbus, Ohio, where firefighters are working to get control of this fire. 5 cars derailed from a train and exploded. And if you're just waking up, be sure to stick around for a couple more minutes. We'll have another update on this when we come back.
Welcome back. Well, this next story really has a lot of us in the newsroom scratching our heads and asking, really, what were they thinking?
An Egyptian couple has been arrested for trying to sneak their baby onto a plane. Take a look right here. Security made this discovery. This is the extra scan of a bag. You can see the child right there. It turns out the parents didn't have a visa for the baby, and they really wanted to get out of town, and they stuffed the 5-month-old into a handbag. They were on their way to the United Arab Emirates, and thankfully the infant was not seriously hurt.
I'm always worried my
Crazy.
laptop's going to get messed up in there. I
Exactly.
can't imagine putting a baby through that x-ray
Yeah,
machine.
yeah,
Really?
desperate situation.
Yeah.
Well, it's 5:26 now. This morning, a warning for local pet owners after a rattlesnake bites a dog and almost kills her.
The doctors told the family it's the worst case they've ever seen. 6 days ago, this chocolate lab named Callie was bitten by a rattlesnake in her front yard in Tavares. Now, so far, she's had to have 16 vials of anti-venom, costing the family more than $8,000 so far.
Oh, poor girl. Vets say this is the time of year they see these kinds of cases, but none as bad as Callie's. And the family just got a call last night. She's doing better. They might be able to pick her up on Thursday or Friday, so certainly something to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, those snakes are out sunbathing right now. It's 5:27. Well, their son died after being brutally beaten by his bandmates.
Ahead, what Robert Champion's parents are expected to do today to make sure someone is held accountable.
And let's take you to another live look at that breaking news. Firefighters out there trying to get control of this massive train fire. It exploded in Ohio.
We just got another update. We'll have that for you in 5 minutes.